ויובן זה בעבודה הרוחניס, בגים לבושי הנפש, למחשבה דיבור המעשה, בקיום התורה mitzvahs, so we can understand this in the spiritual service, and the three garments of the soul, of thought, speech, and action, in fulfilling the Torah and the mitzvahs, dehine dud, machshava דיבור המעשה, הם gim al madregos, basar gidim v'atzamos. Because it's known that thought, speech, and action are the three levels of flesh and sinew and bone. The machshava hu atzamos, that thought is the bone, the essence inside. Hine machshava hi hakavana haruchnis. Now thought is the spiritual intention, the spiritual intent. Zewa etzem sichli, that this is the essential intellect. It's like from Lashon etzem, of bone, kamoshu b'dakus enyan, as it is in the ethereal state. Because the revelation of intellect is in your thought. And even though thought is only a garment to the soul alone, nonetheless it's an inner garment that unites with the soul. And therefore the thought is constantly in movement because it's united with the soul. It's essentially alive. And since thought is this inner garment, therefore the intellect comes and is enclosed in it as the intellectual as the intellect of the soul is in all its being. Meaning the thought doesn't hide it. And that's why the thought corresponds with the bone. It's this inner spiritual intent. And action is the external garment. And comes in a physicalized state in the act of the mitzvahs. The mitzvahs that the mitzvahs need to be done in actuality, in the physical. Like it says in Dvarim, and that you should guard the mitzvahs and the statutes and the laws that I'm commanding you today to do them. And it says you should guard them and do them. And you need to attach this inner intent with the action, and that's in order to have a life, a lebedikite, a vitality in doing the mitzvahs, that you should be excited in doing them. That is in order to have a life in doing of the mitzvah, that's specifically through having kavanah. The mitzvah below kavanah, hikiguf below neshama, that a mitzvah without intent is like a body without a soul. The kashem shebeguf v'nefesh ariachayusu ma'aneshama, that just like with a body and a soul, the life is from the soul. So too it is with the doing of a mitzvah. That the intent is what gives the life force, the vitality in the mitzvah. And this that we're mentioning kavanah here, it's not the particular intent, the particular kavanah of the mitzvah. In that which we're drawing down in revelations, different divine levels that are revealed. That not only that. And as is known, that in each mitzvah there's a particular kavanah, in accordance with that particular mitzvah. like in the mitzvah of tefillin, shanachas and hu bezroa, that we put them on the arm, yad small, the left hand, keneged halev, on the corresponding with the heart. And the straps are wrapped around the arm. And they're wrapping, aside from the 7 around the arm, are the 3 letters of the name Shakai. They have the knots, and that we wrap them like the Yud and the Dalet. And on the head, so that's in the place of wisdom and understanding. So I guess in the arm you have the 7 midos, corresponding with the heart. In the mind you have Chachma and Bina. And the straps on the head surround the skull, and it's tied in the back in the place of where there's the mind of Das. And they come back around to the front until the legs. And so that's in particular with the tefillin, and further it's known that the kavanah of the mitzvah of tefillin is to subjugate the mind and the heart and the mind, that one's mind and heart should be given over to the Torah and the fulfillment of mitzvos. And that's what's hinted to in the particular details of this mitzvah, Shanachas Tefillah al Hayad, that the putting the tefillin on the arm, that the hands should be listening to the heart. So it's a concept of subjugation of the arms to the heart, yad small davka, and specifically on the left arm, meaning to say in the left arm next to the heart, because that's where you're meshabed them. And the straps on the head, shem giloy hamochin bichlal, that are a revelation of the intellect in general, and the mind of knowledge in particular. So they need to reach all the way to the legs. So that meaning to say that the heart affects the action of the arms, and the straps on the head reach all the way to the legs. So your action, your arms and your legs are affected by your hands tefillin and your head tefillin. Sheyihu kol hiluch aval piyat Torah, that all of your ways, all of your travels with your legs should be in accordance with Torah. She chachma, which is the wisdom of the head tefillin. V'chein b'chol mitzvah yesh kavana pratis. So to in each mitzvah there's a particular intent. V'yesh kavana klalis, and then there's also the general intention. V'kana mechuvan b'nyan kavana hiya kavana elokis. But here, when we're talking about kavana, we're talking about the divine intent. V'hainu ha'asaga v'ha'izbonanos elokis. That is to say, the divine grasping and contemplation. So he seems to be saying that it's not the kavana pratis, and it's not really the kavana kolalis we're talking about here. We're talking about the divine intent, that the fact that when we have the intention in the divine and grasping and contemplation on the divine, that awakens love and fear. And therefore, when one contemplates well in the divine concept, that it's Hashem's mitzvah, so you'll be awakened with love and fear. And then the fulfillment of the mitzvah is with a will and desire and a great vitality. Like it's brought in Tanya, that who fulfills the mitzvahs truly, that's the one who loves the name of Havaya, and the one who desires to cleave to him in truth and so forth. And the truth is, this preface of this general intent. So this is the kavana klalis lechora. Hari memele ish sham gama kavana pratis. So since it's general, it includes in it also the particular intent. Tashayich l'chol mitzvah beprat. That is for each and every mitzvah in particular. V'tzarich lios yischabdus hakavana ruchnis im ha'maisa b'pol mamosh. So I guess the kavanah klalis is that you're doing this in general, that it's mitzvah savaya, that's the general intent, that you're doing this for Hashem and so forth, and you have to unite the intent, the spiritual intent, with your action, going back to the concept of the two garments of thought and action. You're connecting the garment of thought, which is a revelation of your intellect and your intent, with your action, with the maisa and actuality. So too, you have to have the obligation of the mitzvah, that is, that your soul and your will obligate you in the doing of the mitzvah, that it should be by a person very demanded that you do this mitzvah internally. That when you demand of yourself like that, then you're careful about doing the mitzvah. Not only the doing of it, but the different particulars of the mitzvah, the details, and an extra scrutiny and being careful. That when does a person do such a thing? When is a person so careful? When their will obligates them in the doing of this mitzvah. When they feel the obligation. As is seen clearly in the physical, so that when a person needs to do something that they're commanded to do, so the person does that, in accordance with the demands of fulfilling that command, and it's not comparable at all to doing something that your soul just simply wants and desires to do. That when you're doing something that you desire, so you're more careful with it because you yourself want to do it. You're not just fulfilling the order. Aside from the fact that you are waiting and hoping and desiring that time that you'll get to do this thing, and you hope and desire this with a longing of the heart and soul. When you actually get to do the thing, it's very precious to you when you get to do it. Every single detail, just like the general intent of wanting to do it. So all the details also are tasty. And the reason for this is because of the great desire and will in this, an inner will in this thing, that this thing demands from him very much. And so too it is with the fulfillment of mitzvahs, that when he has by him the fulfillment of the mitzvah, and the concept of the obligation, it's not only this that he's obligated according to the command, That then when a person does it only for that reason, their fulfillment of the mitzvah is only in order to become released from the obligation. But rather, that a person's will and desire should be in it, as that it's demanded by him greatly, the fulfillment of the mitzvah, that a person waits and hopes for the time to fulfill it according to Torah when it comes to the time to do the mitzvah. The calls mitzvah that each and every mitzvah is set and confined in the boundary of time and place. The mitzvahs hare ikar bahem hu hasiya, that in the mitzvahs the main concept is the actual doing the mitzvah. Vapoel vasiyasan b'makom uzman mugbal davka, and in the physical doing of the mitzvah in time and place, in a confined time and a confined place specifically. And because of his great desire with an inner will and desire, when doing the mitzvahs, so a person waits for each and every mitzvah, when they finally get to do it. Like the Berditch for waiting for sunrise to fulfill the mitzvah of Lulav and Esrog. B'meila muven dechasher oses ha-mitzvah hare umidaktik b'chol pratav v'inyonav b'ava v'chiba gedola. And automatically it's understood that when a person does a mitzvah and scrutinizes in each and every detail with love and great dearness, and this union of the intent, the spiritual intent in one's thought, with the act in actuality, so what connects, what's the hischabrus, the final levush of the nefesh, that's through speech. That is to say, the speech of prayer unites the action with your kavanah. And even though prayer is intent, like the statement that if you had intention in your heart, so your yotze, the tefillah hi kavana, that the prayer is intent, that you have to have intent in prayer. So it's that the kavana comes into speech, into action. So here you see these chabrus, and through this act of prayer, where you both have kavana ruchnis, with the actual physical act, meaning to say the speech. So you have kavana and in speech of prayer. So you have them together. It's mechaber them. That is that the physical fulfillment of the action of the mitzvos, the eker mitzvos, that the main mitzvah is when you actually do them. Should shine into them the inner life force and the spiritual intent of your thought. That this is the speech of prayer. The dibur is mechaber kavanah ruchnis. That action, so that speech unites the inner spiritual intent with the physical actions ba'avodaso kol hayom, that you're going to, after the prayer, go and do the rest of the day. Yatim u'ela kavanah pnimis, that it should match your inner intent. Kitzer Yavar de Machshava Dibura Maise Baso Gidim Vad Samos. So we explained that thought, speech, and action, the three garments of the soul, correspond with flesh and sinew and bone. Machshava atzamos, that thought is the bones. Mitzvos ikarim b'poel, and mitzvos, their main thing, is the action. I guess that's the flesh. V'akavana hi haneshama, and the intention is the soul, the essence, the etzem. So I guess the speech would be the gidim, the sinews that connect the flesh to the bone. Masbir mitzvahs tefillin, and we explain the mitzvah of tefillin, l'shabir alev ha'moach, which is to subjugate the heart and the mind. Obeprat yus b'kishur hayad el halev, and in particular the tying the hand to the heart. V'ashpas hamoach gam al hapoel, and the effect of one's thought also on your action. She'ihiyeh b'chayus, that it should be with vitality. V'yivar inyan hakium b'chibar, me described doing the mitzvah with a desire and a dearness. When you have the kavana klalis, adibur de tefillah mechaber hakavana v'hapoel, and that the speech of prayer unites the intent with the actual doing of the mitzvah. And perhaps the concept of basar gidim vatzamos has to do here with the idea of the tzaddik and the kaver,